Hey Lumineers! Over the weekend, the Disney Lorcana challenge in Bologna took place. I will break down the deck representation, how many of those made it to day 2, which decks had the most success, and check out the top 4 deck list from the event. Alright, let's talk deck representation. And yeah, no shocker here, Plurple completely dominated the event. Nearly 37 of all players brought some version of it. No wonder that Dumbo price keeps climbing up. In second place, we've got Ember Steel at around 20%, the classic aggro lineup doing what it does best. In third place, Emerald Sapphire at 15%. That one actually surprised me. I expected way more cow control, but only 288 players brought it. Our underdog, Ember Emerald, showed up with just 117 players, under 10% of the Lumineers. After that, we mostly have one-offs and niche decks, each under 2%. And funny enough, Emerald Ruby didn't show up at all. Still, we did get some spicy moments on stream, like that Ember Ruby player double shifting Mulan into a total powerhouse. But overall, the meta looked pretty familiar to what we have seen these last few weeks. Day 2 really shook things up. Out of 1,864 players, only 285 made it through, and the deck landscape changed a lot. What we're looking at here are the percentage of decks represented among those 285 players. Ember Emerald came out swinging, jumping up 5% on day 2, and that's a huge leap from day 1. Clearly, the deck works, and Illumineers playing it knew exactly what they were doing. Ember Steel saw a small bump too, growing by about 1%, proving once again that aggro decks work in this meta. Blurple took a slight hit, dropping from 36.6 to 33%, but still absolutely dominating day 2 overall. It's clear that Blurple still is one of the top decks in the current meta. Amethyst Steel, Emerald Steel, and Amethyst Emerald pretty much stayed the same, no major shifts there. Everything else, pretty much extinct by day 2. So yeah, some decks made a jump, others completely disappeared. Not too surprisingly overall, though I'll admit, Ruby Amethyst caught me off guard. Out of 19 players, 2 managed to make it to day 2, which is honestly impressive. Good to see some representation for Ruby. Now let's have a look at the success rate. How well each deck actually performed getting into day 2. And whoa, Ember Emerald players were bringing the fire. Almost 30% of them made it through. That's huge. This deck absolutely overperformed, leaving everything else in the dark. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a lot more people experimenting with Ember Emerald after this event. Maybe even a meta shift after the DLC? We'll see. Coming in next, Amethyst Emerald, around 19% made it to day 2. Not an ink combo we've seen much of recently, but it's clearly gaining some traction. Maybe people are finally realizing how strong that combination of bounce, evasive, and card draw is. Ember Steel and Emerald Sapphire both set around 60%, really solid showings. Aggro still holds up, and Emerald Sapphire continues to prove there is more to the cow control deck. Then we've got Amethyst Steel, Amethyst Sapphire, and Emerald Steel all chilling around 13 to 14%. Based on these numbers, we can say that Purple is not working for everyone. 683 players brought this deck to the DLC and only 94 made it to the second day. Amethyst Ruby is about 10% and Sapphire Steel came in last with the lowest success rate. But hey, let's be real. A bunch of color pairs didn't even make it to day 2. So the fact that these ones did, still a win in my book. So yeah, Ember Emerald absolutely stole the spotlight, and I think this could be the start of something spicy for the next few weeks. Alright, let's dive into the top 4 decks from Bologna, starting off with Nick, who brought a super clean Amethyst Steel list. This deck runs 54 characters and 6 actions, and it's all about consistency and card draw. Seriously, this thing never runs out of cards. You've got Doc, who lets you draw 2 cards when you discard your hand, great for when you have nothing in your hand. Dumbo can exert to draw a card and gain a lure, And even better, he gives that same ability to all your evasive characters, turning them into mini draw engines. Then there's Genie, who draws a card when he enters play, and Isma, who lets you refill your hand up to 3 cards when you're running low. With all that draw power, this deck always has options to counter your opponents. But the other big strength, removal. You've got Calhoun, Captain Hook, Giant Cobra, Jafar, and Elsa to control the board. And when your characters take damage, Madame Mim and Belle come in and move your damage off to your opponent. Overall, it's just a super solid, well-rounded deck. Great draw, strong removal, and it never seems to run out of answers. A great example of why Amethyst Steel does well in this meta. Next up, we've got Bruno, rocking an Emerald Steel deck, and this one's all about speed. This list runs 49 characters, 4 items, and 7 actions, and it's built to race to 20 lore fast. Cards like Fred and Calhoun sneak in lore by challenging and banishing, starting the pressure early. But what really makes this deck shine is how difficult it is to disrupt. It has 2 ward characters, which means all those target cards like Welcome just don't work. And then there's the real MVP, Emerald Chromagon. This card is just nasty. If your opponent banishes one of your characters, you can bounce their character right back to their hands. On defense, it got tools like Fire the Cannon, Strength of Raging Fire, and Lewis, who can make enemy characters reckless, forcing them into bad trades. It's the perfect mix of speed, protection, and punishments. In second place, we've got Vincent with another Amethyst Steel deck. Just like Nick's list, however, this one is running 61 cards. And as you expect, it is fantastic at card draw. But what makes Vincent's version stand out are a few tweaks. He's running Happy, Mr. Smee, and Hypnotic Strength, which gives the deck the ability for some extra flexibility. The characters help deal with evasive threats, and Hypnotic Strength not only lets you draw a card, but also gives +2 challenger for the turn, perfect for removing threats. But what's really interesting though is how Vincent doesn't stick to the standard playset rules. He's totally fine running just 1 or 2 copies of a certain card, letting him adjust on the fly depending on the matchup. It's a smart version of Amethyst Steel, built for flexibility and surprise plays. And here it is, the deck of our Bologna champion, Lucas. He played a Blurple deck during the DLC, and this thing is all about ramping your inkwell and then taking control. Cards like Tipo, Steal the Asteroid Sea, and One Jump Ahead get your inkwell going fast. Then you've got Elsa to exert your opponent, Hades to dump characters into their inkwell, and Monstro to take out threats while challenging. Just like other Amethyst decks, Lucas' list is packed with card draw. Dumbo can exert to draw a card and gain a lore, and he even gives that ability to all your evasive characters. Genie draws a card when he enters play, Finder's Keeper draws 3, and Second Star to the Right can draw 5 cards. What really makes Lucas' deck stand out are some of his unique tactics. Many Blurple decks don't run magical maneuvers, but he does, letting you return a character to your hand to exert a chosen enemy. Then there's Dig a Little Deeper, which looks at your top 7 cards, putting 2 into your hand and the rest on the bottom in any order. Perfect for finding exactly what you need. And don't forget Ursula Voice Stealer. When she enters, you can exert an opposing ready character. Then play a song for free equal to or less than that character's cost. Lucas only played 7 songs, 2 of which are high cost, but this adds yet another option for exerting your opponent's characters. Another interesting choice, Lucas skipped the usual Blurple cards like Develop Your Brain and Vision of the Future, which most decks run. Instead, he is focused on on-demand options, a big reason why this deck took home first place. Overall, it's the perfect deck for a champion. And that's a wrap on Disney Lorcana Challenge in Bologna. Huge congrats to Lucas for taking home the win with his Blurple deck. What a performance. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more Lorcana content. And let me know in the comments if you're going to play something different now. Bye!